Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to NTUC LearningHub webinar for Skills Future Month 2021. Skills Future Singapore and NTUC LearningHub are proud to present this online learning experience to help you upskill for a better career and a better life. Thank you so much for joining us early. The webinar will be starting soon. Now, while waiting for the rest of the attendees to join in, you may visit www.skillsfuturemonth.sg to find out more about the upcoming free webinars that you can also sign up for. Also, do stay all the way till the end because we do have a post-webinar survey, and 2 participants who complete the survey will win $10 fair price online vouchers. Now, for the busy professionals who prefer learning at your own pace, NTUC LearningHub has made learning accessible anytime, anywhere through the online learning platform, LHub Go. In celebration of NTUC's 60th anniversary, NTUC LearningHub continues to provide care and protection to members by providing upskilling opportunities. So NTUC members get to enjoy the exclusive LHub Go Grow 60 to support your lifelong learning journey anytime, anywhere. For a limited time only, instead of paying the usual price of $26 per year, NTUC members can now enjoy 60 popular courses at just $6 per year. For more information, simply click the website link available in the chat box to find out more. Meanwhile, sit back, relax, and I will return shortly to start the session. See you soon.
Sorry. Okay. Oh, I took it. It's on my desk. Yeah, I took it.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to Skills Future Month 2021. My name is Karen and I will be your host for today. Now, Skills Future Month brings forth an exciting myriad of opportunities for you to discover how you can enhance your skill set and employability. With more than 130 interactive learning events lined up, you will enjoy unparalleled access to a wealth of knowledge from our network of partners. Whether you're looking for a job or upgrading skills to give yourself that competitive edge, Skills Future Month is the perfect opportunity for you to get a head start on your lifelong learning journey. The events also provide easy access to information on how Skills Future and the SG United Jobs and Skills Package can help you to stay relevant in the new economy. Now, Skills Future Singapore and NTUC LearningHub are glad to bring you this exciting online learning experiences. Now, please stay till the end because we do have a post-webinar survey, and 2 participants who complete the survey will win $10 fair price online vouchers. Today we have with us Linda, Director for HR and Admin at NTUC. After spending 17 years in academia, she joined NTUC back in 2011. And in the 10 years with NTUC, she has supported the company as it grew from a small team of just 6 to the current staff strength of close to 100. She handles the overall administration of the company, putting processes in place to support the company's growth. So if you've got any questions for her, then please use the Q&A function at any time. Without further ado, I'll hand over the time to Alinda. Alinda, please.
Thank you, Karine. Hi, everyone. This is Elinda. Okay, let me share with you my screen. Right, I heard there are over 800 of you right now sitting in. Thank you for signing up for this session, and I'm really happy to have you here. I'm quite excited to speak this afternoon with you about Agritech industry and what's in store for you. A reason for my excitement is because I am very interested in people developing skills. Because, you know, skills are so important for you to move on in your career and looking at what you need to do next. And so, you know, Agritech is really a new field, and there are a lot of opportunities in there. So, you know, I'm going to run through some of the possible opportunities with you. And if you have some questions, you can post it in the Q&A. Unfortunately, I cannot see all of you, so I'm just talking to my own PowerPoint slides, and I hope you can hear me clearly. Do let me know if you can't. Okay, so I'm going to share with you the next slide. Okay, so I think by now you will all have heard about this 30 by 30, right? So what is 30 by 30 goal for Singapore? That Singapore has set up this, by 2030, we want to achieve 30% of providing our own nutritional needs. That means to say that, you know, we want to be more self-sufficient. We want to be able to cater for ourselves, especially, for example, right now we have this pandemic and some of the food cannot get into Singapore, or there's a big delay. So at least if we can even help ourselves with 30% of our food, we can buffer, you know, the time that, you know, we don't all have to go hungry before, you know, the food reaches us. So at least we can produce some of our food. And some of you may be thinking, so what food does Singapore produce? You know, you may not even know what Singapore has. So basically, there are 3 areas that Singapore produces food in. Of course, one is vegetables. Secondly is eggs. And then thirdly is fish. Yeah, so these are the 3 main categories. Some people think that we have chicken, but we don't have chickens here in Singapore. We only have the egg-laying hens, you know, and we provide eggs here. So this is our countries and our nation's goal, and that's something we're looking forward to, you know, by 2030. So what that means when we decide to move on in this area, that means that there will be opportunities in this area, and it's good for those of you who are interested to pick up skills in this area, not just, you know, for a job or a career, but it is important for our country. So, you know, anything that involves food is critical, right? So it's an industry that will not go down, you know, because we all need to eat, right? Okay. So right now, you may have already heard, we have SFA. SFA stands for our Singapore Food Agency, has tendered out 380,000 square meters of vegetable farm plots, and also 50,000 square meters of rooftop plots for farming. So it shows the seriousness in which our country and our determination, yeah, to move towards this goal. So we have many farm plots coming up. It's all mainly, up in Kranji, Lim Chu Kang, or those areas. And then we also have the rooftop farm plots. And not to mention, there are also many indoor farming. That means factory buildings that are repurposed for indoor farming. So there are a lot more space that we have now for farming. And next, also, we are in the process of setting up Agri-Food Innovation Hub. Yeah, I think there's some delay. The dates there is 2021 Q2, but actually there is some delay. It's on the way. So this is a much bigger hub somewhere in Sungai Kadut, and it will, have facilities to make this industry bloom even more, to make it, more exciting, and that Singapore will become like a food innovation hub. All right. So let's be honest, we are a very small place in Singapore. We are not going to produce all of our food needs. We will definitely still need our imports. Yeah. But what we want to do is to have the knowledge, have the experience, so that we are not left clueless, when our neighbors in Thailand or Malaysia or Philippines, Cambodia, they all know how to farm and we all don't know how to farm. So, we need to have this knowledge and skill for ourselves. Yeah, so we're not clueless about farming, because farming is very important. So, well, I think some of you may be asking questions like, hey, do I need a background in Agri to get a job in Agritech? We'll answer all these questions later. Do I need technical qualifications to get a career in Agritech? What kind of job roles, should I look out for if I'm starting out in Agritech? Yeah, so these are some of the questions I'm sure some of you may have. Right, so I'm going to, show you the full spectrum. So when we talk about Agritech, it is a very all-encompassing, spectrum from the farms all the way to the consumer. So there's a whole spectrum of, the supply chain over there. So in Agritech, we are not talking about just you being a farmer, right? Not just talking about you having to grow and be a farmer working out in the land and using a chanko. Okay, no, it's more than that. There's a lot of technology, there's a lot of engineering, there's a lot of sales and marketing involved in this whole cradle, in this whole chain, all right? So you see on my PPT, you see smallholder farmers. So of course there are smallholder farmers, and of course there are also commercial farmers, big farmers. So that's where our starting point is. Yeah, so that's where the farm is. And then we have people who are the agronomists. So the agronomists are people who are like the plant scientists. So they are the ones who, will learn or will know about the plants, how to make them grow better, what kind of nutrients they require, how much water to feed them with. Is there any way to, make this variety different? Then we have a lot of farm technology that makes farming much easier. And then there's farm supply, because when you do farming, you need your nutrients, your fertilizers, your soil, your cocoa peats, and your water. And then we have one more, that's a bank. Yeah, bank is very important. And right now, you would probably know that many banks are offering green loans. Yeah, so green loans are no sustainable type of loans. So yeah, banks are important because, farmers need money, right, to buy the seeds, to plow the land, to prepare the place way before they actually make money from selling the produce. Yeah, so we need a bank. Then of course there's the cold chain. So cold chain, your produce needs to be transported. Could be from many different countries. Of course, within Singapore, it's really small. We're talking about, say, between Kranji to some district center, really short distance. But a cold chain typically involves your airlines or shipping lines to bring your food all the way from many parts of the world. And Singapore, we import like 95% of our food from over 90 over countries, yeah, as far as Poland or Brazil. So cold chain is a critical component of Agritech. Then of course we have our wholesalers, people who aggregate the supplies and then distributing them to supermarkets, to your markets. And then we have finally the consumers, right? So this is the whole spectrum. So I'm going to run through the different areas in which some of you may be interested, or you may have some background in, and you see that, hey, maybe these are some of the jobs I can pick up. So firstly, the biosciences, that is, very obvious. If you're talking about plants and vegetables, yes, you need your agronomist, your plant physiologist, your research technician. So just now I already mentioned your agronomists are the farm doctors, yeah? So these are the ones, when they look at the plant, they will know what's wrong with the plant, or not enough calcium, not enough nitrogen, whatever. I'm not a plant doctor, yeah. So these are the ones who have studied the sciences, did pay attention in class during the chemistry and the biology, yeah. All right, and then you have the plant physiologist, it's very similar to the agronomist. Then research technician, because hey, just now I talked about Singapore being an innovation center, right? So we are not just going to produce a lot of vegetables, we want to innovate. So research, yeah, how to do a seed, typing, or look at how to make the seeds more robust for our weather, for our climate, right? And yeah, so this is what the agronomist does. They look at the plant health. They also look at some of the pests that affects your plants. Yeah, so if you are familiar with pests, yeah, there's also a job for you in Agritech. Yeah, so yeah, the crops, the soil as well. Yeah, so biosciences. Next, we look at engineering. All right, so agricultural engineering, there are many aspects of it. So you see the 3 columns there. So one, you can look at equipment and machinery kind of engineering. So if you are a mechanical engineer, this is something up your your street, right? You can look at different types of machinery that people use for seeding, automatic seeding, harvesting, sorting out the produce, grading the produce, or processing the produce, like the packaging and all that. We can look at robotics. Yeah, nowadays we have people using robots for harvesting, even robots, to check what's the plant health as well. Then, of course, we have the automated greenhouses, which are much more common in many of the European countries or American countries, not so much common in Asia, but more is coming up right now. And of course, in Singapore, we also have them. And in fact, our company, NTUC, has a very high-tech and highly automated greenhouse way up in Kranji. Yeah, so to maintain our greenhouse, to build the greenhouse, we need our engineers. We need our mechanical engineers, our electrical engineers who knows how to handle that. Yeah, because they don't just stay there. They need to be maintained, and sometimes something goes wrong with it. You know how to troubleshoot, and manage that. Then, of course, we have our soil and water engineers, people who know how to manage the water. Talk about rainwater harvesting. How do we harvest the water? Because why water is so important in agriculture, you use a lot of water, yeah, and unfortunately, water is a shortage in many parts of the world. In Singapore, yes, we have a lot of rain, yeah, but if you don't harvest the rain, they also just go down the drain. So we can look at how to harvest the rainwater, how to treat it, then how to reuse it, right? And in agriculture, there's also need for waste and wastewater management, because when your water moves out, how do we contain that? In fact, PUB has many measures that we must follow so that we don't pollute our waterways. Yeah, so wastewater management, very important. So that is very much also a whole lot part of environmental engineering. Yeah. So that's your soil and water engineering. Then, of course, we have building and power supply. So this part is very important when you are designing and building your greenhouse or your farm structure. You need to look at land preparation, you need to look at the greenhouse structure and the furniture inside the greenhouse. So this one, in Singapore, the BCA, that's the Building Control Authority, has got many guidelines that we have to follow as well when you build your greenhouse. Yeah, which means that we need engineers, don't we? Yeah, so we need people to plan for, and build and design and build a greenhouse. So that's our engineering. Yeah, so this is just some pictures, to show you, about robotics and automation. On the right, you see this one is a packaging machine, right? Which many of the farmers, when they have their produce, they do use these kind of machines to pack their produce. On the left, of course, you see somebody managing or controlling drones. So yeah, this is how Agritech is. We're talking about tech, not just farm, yeah. So this person is controlling the drones, and I believe the drones are probably, I think it's just doing some irrigation or some dishing out nutrients to the plants. Then we have IT-oriented jobs in this sector as well. So those of you with IT background, actually IT is very much sought after right now. So in this industry, we have a software engineer. You can develop things like mobile applications, create software, machines and applications. Basically, IT makes farming much easier, right? You can help the farmers to forecast the weather. You can help them to decide how much nutrients to apply, how much water to apply, right? So for example, in our own farm, we have IT and, we don't need to be on the farm all the time. It means that on my own desk, I can decide, I can look at what's happening to my plant, and then I can say, okay, I want to have a bit more calcium. Okay, I want to have a bit less phosphorus. So I can just do that on my screen. I don't have to go down to the farm and then start mixing. No, I do that on my screen, and then my machine, starts taking the orders, and they will handle it automatically. So that's how a modern farm should be, right? So even as I'm sitting right here, I can actually monitor my farm in Thailand as well. I know the weather in Thailand. I know whether it's raining, not raining, how much moisture in the air, and how I should be adjusting the irrigation for the plants. Yeah, so that's what the software engineer does. Then we have data scientists or an analyst. So the data, because in the farm we collect a lot of data. So what do we use the data for? Because if we don't have data, every day is going to be the same. You are not going to be learning. You're going to do the same thing, do the same mistakes, and go through over and over again. So we need to learn, we need to improve. So having data, collating the data, analyzing the data would help us improve our farming, right? So you can have sensors that will pick up data for you, and then the data can be translated, and then you can see, okay, throughout the year, each part of the year, what's happening, what's the weather in different parts of the year. So what do I do? How do I forecast my demand? Can I improve the next year or the next round of harvest? So this is what a data scientist does. Yeah. So if you like numbers, if you like predictive modeling, so you need to do some modeling over here. This is a role that's cut out for you. Next, supply chain and IT. Just now we talked about supply chain. So supply chain is where we talk about how we are moving the produce, from the source all the way to the consumer. So supply chain, I think in Singapore is quite a mature industry. There are many people in the supply chain already. So yes, supply chain also applies very much in Agritech. Then we have operations, so the key person who manages the farm, just the very generic name, we call the farm manager. So basically this person operates the whole farm. This person knows everything about the farm, how to run it, but may not know the great detail, That means to say, if let's say the machine has a problem, this person may not know how to, go and toggle with the machine, but he will know there's a problem and he can call the technician or the engineer and say, please come, there's something wrong with the machine, okay? Or if the crop has a problem, the crops are all turning yellow, he knows there's something wrong, but he may not be able to handle that as in, how do I adjust the nutrients, but he can call for the agronomists to come and help. So this person knows everything and basically how to run it. So the farm manager, as you can see from the picture, I think you can tell who are the farm managers over there. They're the ones, taking control and talking to the team, telling them on a daily basis what you have to do, So the farm manager has the role of managing the crop production, managing production schedule, looking at the demand. So when you look at the farm demands, how much to produce, you have to work with the sales team, right? Because you cannot produce a whole lot and then the sales team says, I cannot sell, supermarket's not taking it up, all right? So you need to work with the sales team and look at, what's the history, what's the buying history of the supermarkets, are they picking it up, what variety do they want more? Then you adjust your crop production accordingly, right? So this is the role of the farm manager. And of course, you also need to manage the farm growers, the people who are working on the farm. So the farm manager seems to be like a jack of all trades, right? But, it's a very critical role. You need to be extremely organized because you have so many things on your mind. You need to be able to multitask. Yeah, you need to be very calm, very cool. You need to not mind people disturb you on a weekend or public holiday, because the plants are growing 24/7. Hey, there's no weekend, there is no public holiday. The crops are growing, all right? But of course, with technology, you don't have to be always there, but you need to monitor, right? Okay, so that's the farm manager. Then sales and marketing. Yes, so sales and marketing is very important. So once you have your produce, if you can't sell, what are you going to do with it? Give to your friends and family? They can't even eat so much, right? So you need to be able to sell your produce, right? So in Singapore, of course, the Singapore Food Agency is saying buy local, encouraging everyone to buy local. But we have many imports coming in as well. You cannot force your consumers to buy your produce if your produce is not packaged properly, if your produce is not branded properly, if your produce is not on the supermarket shelves, how are they going to buy it? Yeah, so you need someone to manage the channel. So whether you are selling it via the supermarket, whether you are selling it online, whether you are selling it to the wet market or to group buys, somebody's got to manage this, right? And then of course nowadays it's very, very common or not common. I mean, people are really getting used to buying online. So you need someone to create the digital content. Yeah, whether it's on your website, your online channel, your newsletters or social media. So this is all part of sales and marketing, right? Then, of course, there are other business functions. You can see there's still the finance, there's data analyst, there is the buyer, the procurement, there is human resources, administration. So these are common business functions, that anyone without anything to do with, farming knowledge can handle, which is where I am also. I'm handling the human resource and administration. So I have no clue how the plant grows. I know a little bit now, having been in the industry, but really I don't have green fingers. So, but I can still work in a farming company. Then, of course, we talk about education and capacity building. Now, this one is not so much a role for any particular farm, but this is, I should say, people who are interested to join agencies or banks or some other outfit that is looking at how do we tell people more about farming, about growing, about Agritech. How do we get people used to the idea that, hey, we should have more and more of this. So there's a lot of work that's going on, or you want to work for the institutions, you can teach. There are some institutions that have courses on farming as well, on Agritech. So yes, education and capacity building, yeah. Many farms are also opening their doors to schools, to students, to understand about farming. So this is another area that you can look at. Then food tech. Okay, food tech is quite a little bit different, but I just added it in because food tech is very close to farming, because where does food tech get the ingredients from? It's from the farm. Yeah, so whether you create meat out of your jackfruit, create, I don't know, eggs out of corn or whatever. So you need your farms, yeah. So food tech is an industry that is very closely related. So some of you may be interested in food tech. Then other applications, yeah, these are other applications on Agritech. Over here, you see really nice pictures. This is in Tokyo. It's in an office building, persona. And this organization, it is actually a HR company, but they have brought farming into their office. For what purpose? Yeah, it's for the staff to feel relaxed, because farming is therapeutic for most people, and farming is close to the heart. Yeah. So when you have something like that, your staff can participate in these activities. You feel, kind of closest to the ground, and then, you don't feel so angsty, not so stressed. So, these are other applications of agriculture, in our modern life. Then, of course, there's people who want to do farm tours and farm stays. Now, these are nothing new. Okay, we have that in Bali, in Thailand, in wherever. It's nothing new, but hey, someone's got to do this job, right? I mean, if you're interested to set up farm tours or farm stay, yeah, there's always a role for you. So the next few slides, I have picked out some positions that are open. I actually went to the website and I picked out some jobs, that I just prepared my slides about a week ago. So, these jobs are still quite current. You can actually go and check it out. Maybe it's still open, right? So this one, I don't put down the name of the company, yeah. So this one, head of production and operations, is very much like the farm manager role. Okay, so this farm, I think it's a new farm coming up in Singapore. Oh, I think I put something there is related to Germany. So I think there's one German company that is setting up a farm here. So, the responsibilities include operation of the equipment, developing technological ramp-up procedures, yeah, and the qualifications, 5 years of relevant work or management experience in industrial management, manufacturing, technology, or similar. See, they did not mention about agriculture. So even if you didn't have agriculture background, this is an opportunity for you if you're familiar with machines, industrial management, right? Next, there's operations manager. This is also very much like the farm manager position. So this one, you supervise the packers in the pack when they pack the vegetables according to company standards, teach and guide the workers, work alongside the workers, maintain tidiness. Now this one seems a bit more very much hands-on, because yeah, I see point number 3, hands-on packing of vegetables by trimming, blah, blah. It seems like this person has to do a bit of hands-on as well, probably a much smaller farm, yeah? So the requirement, 2 to 5 years, supervisory experience in production or factory line, okay? So yeah, it's very doable for some people who may be interested. Then this one, it says urban farmer, grower, nursery, farm, or post-harvest technician. That means farm technician or post-harvest technician. This is quite a fancy name. Yeah, basically you are the grower, which means that you are the person who is actually doing the planting, okay, doing the seeding, the transplanting, the harvesting, packing, housekeeping, right? So the requirements are really simple. You should be passionate in agriculture and learning. All right. Very simple requirement, but look at the last point. Physically fit, able to stand for long hours and performing lifting, bending, and pulling actions. Okay, so this one is a very much hands-on role. All right. Quality control inspector. Yes, you need somebody who checks the quality. Yeah, because you don't want your vegetables going out and then thrown back by the supermarket because it's not meeting the requirements. So somebody needs to check the quality. So of course, not just checking the vegetables quality, but there are many industry standards that we can apply for. For example, clean and green farms, good agricultural practice farm. So somebody needs to run through the whole processes and procedures of the operations and put up the manual, yeah, and be able to get some of these licenses or some of these stamp from the industry, like SFA, So for this one, you require a minimum of diploma in food tech, nutrition, or dietetics, yeah, preferably having auditor certification. So this one, yeah, more qualifications are required. Then we have farm engineer, all right? So this one is somebody is good with all the mechanical parts, able to maintain, able to repair some of the machines, install the wiring and cabling, and oversee and guiding the construction workers, yeah, and installing the pipes for agricultural irrigation. Okay, so the requirements for this, able to install wiring, cabling, able to install the irrigation, knowledge of water pump, irrigation, and fertigation. It doesn't say that a degree is required, so but I think to know electrical wiring and cabling, you need a diploma, unless of course you had a lot of work experience and you're already familiar. And this one is a little bit different. This is community manager for Agritech Center. Remember, I talked about education and I talked about community building. So this one is a job that's suitable. I mean, that's in the area. All right. So for this one, you're crafting strategic directions to meet industry, research, and startup needs. So this is somebody who's taking care of the Agritech Center to promote Agritech, to promote the industry. All right. So you'll be looking at corporate and public sector partnerships. You'll be looking at, getting people interested and connecting Agritech, food tech, and all the related startups. All right. So this one, the requirement is a bachelor's degree, 5 years of business experience, right? Experience is preferred. Experience in Agritech is preferred, but it's not required, right? So perfectly suitable for somebody who likes to do business development, who likes to network with many people in the industry, who is able to manage events, organize activities. Yeah. So the question is, how do we get there, right? So I suppose you all listening in, you are quite interested. What am I doing for time? You are pretty interested in this area, right? So the question is, first, do I have an interest? Do you have a real interest? Or is it you just like the idea? Because it's not so easy to work in a farm. Huh? We have people coming and telling us they are interested. And then when they arrive at the farm, whoop, the umbrella comes out. And then in 2 hours, they say, oh, very hot, I need to go home. All right, so do you have a real interest in the farm? Okay. And then do you have the appropriate qualifications? So just now I mentioned your qualification need not be Agritech, because in Singapore right now we don't have an Agritech degree, right? So you can be engineer, you can be having biosciences degree or even a business degree. If you have the appropriate qualifications to meet some of the job requirements, yeah, why not? And then the next question is, how can I accumulate some experience? So I think that is most critical for many of you. You may have interest, you may have the appropriate qualifications, but you don't have any experience at all. And who's going to give you an opportunity, right? So I know of many people who do volunteer, at some farms, or they help out in community farms, or they even have their own plot at home, or they have a community plot that they are managing. So this is some way you can gain a little bit of experience, not a lot, but that's some way to do it. And I also know of people who do part-time work at some of the farms. Yeah. So for the experience gathering part, sometimes I think we can't go to a farm and want to be the manager. we just start from the very basic, yeah, the seeding, the transplanting, the harvesting, the packing, because that's how you can accumulate the ground up experience. If you don't do that, you just cannot be the farm manager because you don't know how the workers do it. You don't know how they feel, all right? Okay, I'm done with my slides. We have about another 20 minutes. So I'm going to look at the questions you have. Let me see. Need to put on my glasses. So let me have a sip of water first. There is one question here from Jasmine. Jasmine says that you're interested in the course, but you have issue applying via XOPI. As it mentions, you applied before for the first intake. I'm not sure what is XOPI, Jasmine, but I think this is a question that the NTUC LearningHub guys can help you with, because I believe you're trying to apply for the Digital Agritech program. Okay, so yeah, I hope someone from LearningHub will assist with that. Next is Leah. Leah is asking, can I join the program while still working full-time in my current job? I'm interested, but I do not want to quit from the current job. I believe the if you're talking about the Digital Agritech program, I believe you cannot take it up if you are working full-time, but you can take it up if you're working part-time. So I think this one, the LearningHub folks will also be able to assist you. Because basically the Digitech, the Digital Agritech program is to help reprofile some of our, our locals who have lost their jobs, or who are looking for a different career. All right. So next we have Dana. Dana asks, where do you get into an apprenticeship that I can earn as I learn hands-on manner? So Dana, just now I mentioned you can volunteer, because volunteer you don't earn anything, but there are some places who would give you some allowance to learn. But don't expect too much, Dana, because because when you start work on the farm, you could be doing very low level tasks, yeah, because you have no experience, so they can't pay you very much. So just treat it like an allowance that would pay for your your transport, your lunch or meal, make up for your time, but don't expect too much, because hey, it's an apprenticeship, right? So you're there to learn, and they can teach you. Kat says, if SG government targets 30% of our food supply to be homegrown in 10 years, how much will outdoor farming and how much will be indoor farming? What is the current status now? Wow, this one, Kat, I cannot answer you. I have not done my math, so I don't know. I mean, when you say outdoor farming, okay. When you say outdoor farming, do you mean farm plots in Kranji? Because some of them are also, under a shelter. So do you consider that indoor farming? Or do you mean that indoor farming is only those with air conditioning, and that means artificial climate and artificial lighting? So yeah, not sure. So yeah, this one need to ask SFA. Anne is asking, could slides be sent to participants after the webinar? Very informative. Anne, sure. Yeah, I can do that. I think especially the parts on the job posting, I think that'd be, yeah. I don't mind sharing with you then. Then we have Kat. Kat says, wait, the thing is moving. I visited some farms in Israel a few years back. I was amazed they can harvest bananas and mangoes in a desert climate. Does SG government have a list of the most desired produce out of our own farms, or each farm simply decides what produce to cultivate based on popularity or profit? Okay, Kat, Yeah, I love Israel and I've been to Israel many times. It is amazing. Yeah, they have bananas and mangoes. And the same time, they have pomegranates and oranges and other kinds of fruits. Israel is very blessed. They have many, many different climates in one small area. Singapore does not have that. Yeah. The other thing is Singapore has very high humidity, which means that there are some things that we can't do. Yeah. Many fruits that are grown can only be sweet, or they can only fruit properly if there is a range of temperature. That means high and low temperature, day and night temperature differs. In Singapore, it's almost same temperature. The only difference is raining or not raining, right? Yeah. So yeah, and okay, does our government dictate what kinds of produce we farm? So when we say 30-30, yeah, we are looking at sustainability. So we are looking at produce that is common, that is easily affordable by most people. So therefore, our farmers are mainly farming our Asian leafy greens. That means your bayams, your trisim, your xiaobai, your naibai. These are the Asian leafy greens that is directed for us to farm. Yeah, okay. Then Ellen says the profit margin is very low for agribusiness. Do you know how to solve this issue? Okay. Do I know how to solve this issue? I cannot answer this question. It's possible. It is not impossible. Yeah. Yeah. Angela says, can I be a volunteer in your farm? I'm currently on employment, but I'm interested in agriculture. Angelina, you can, I'm sorry, Angela, you can write in via LHub. We can talk, but actually we don't have volunteers on our farm. All our farm staff are working people. Gyok Han asks, what job would you recommend for someone who wants to eventually start an agri-tech farm? I think to start an agri-tech farm is good for you to gain experience in a farm first, Gyok Han. Yeah, because not so easy to just start a farm, right? Because you need a lot of resources, you need many different people, many different skill set. Yeah, so it's good for you to get to know the industry, get to know people in the industry, and then gather some experience. Right, next, Lydia asks, is there a list of organizations for farming work? Yes, Lydia, you can actually go on to SFA website, or you can go on to SAFER website. SAFER is Singapore Agro-Food Enterprises Federation, right? So you can, or you just Google farms in Singapore. So there are many farms in Singapore. So Afra is asking, does experience in hydroponics farming count as experience in Agritech? Yes, Afra, many farms in Singapore are actually doing hydroponics farming. Yeah. So for those who are not familiar, hydroponics farming is using just water. So there are farms that are using soil, there are farms that are using pure just water, but there are farms that are using a mix. So yes, of course, it is counted as experience in Agritech. Hazel is asking, thanks Hazel, you're asking, you're in a full-time position, would farms still be willing to take you as a volunteer with limited availability? Do you have other suggestions? Hazel, I want to let you know that many farms are very, very far away. I don't know where you live, but unless you're living in NTUC or something, it's very far away. And for you to travel back and forth and with a limited time, it's difficult, yeah? To gain experience, you can help out in some of these community farms. Our Singapore NParks has offered many Singaporeans small little plots of land, and then they are all doing some farming. So you can either get a plot yourself, or you can volunteer over there. Cat asks, is it possible to visit our farm? Cat, I think this one you need to write in. Yeah, we don't normally take in visitors at the farm. Catherine asks, is there an adapt and grow for this Agritech sector? I think for this one, I need the LHub people to answer, or the skills future people to answer. I'm not sure about adapt and grow. Then Esther is asking, you want to be a volunteer, how and where to start? Same thing I answered just now. Community farm is a very good place to start, or you can just Google the different farms in Singapore and ask whether they need any volunteers. Yeah. I think there are some places who do take in a lot of volunteers, like your edible garden, your ground up initiative and all that. You can look for them. These are more the social enterprises. Yeah. Fong Cheong is asking, is there IT vacancy available? You mean available in my company or available anywhere? IT vacancy, many are available anywhere. Yeah, so Fong Cheong, do a Google search on the jobs portal. Yeah. Then Chao Wen is asking, when you mention research technician, do these roles require a higher degree such as PhD? Are these roles usually in companies or are they based in research institutes? Now, Chao Wen, to be, some of the bigger farms do their own research, but because we are still farms, yeah, so many of us, because the farms are mostly SMEs, we do anything and everything, yeah. So if you only want to do research, then yes, I think you should go and look for a research institution, you know, like even your institutes of higher learning, yeah. And whether you need a PhD or not depends on what level of research are you doing, okay? Because there's some research that can be done by a degree holder, right? Kenneth is asking, I'm a senior in the education sector. How can I fit in? Kenneth, I can't answer your question until I know what you're teaching, what is your experience, you know, and yeah, because education, you can be teaching anything. I suppose you have some education, I mean, a lot of deep knowledge in certain areas. Jason is asking, just wondering whether there are jobs for financial professionals or even investors. Of course, there are jobs for financial professionals and investors. There are many companies that are looking at farms to invest in the farms. So yeah, if you know about farming and you know about finance, you can, you know, work in an investment company that knows how to, and that you know how to do the modeling. You know, you need to help the investor company or the banks to look at the payback, you know, when the investments will be paid back, whether the farms can, you know, make good on the loans that they're picking up. Yeah, so of course there are jobs in the banks and investment companies. Meng Huat is asking, where to find jobs for farms in Singapore? Do go to the jobs portal. You know, the government has a jobs portal. Yeah, I think go look at them. I got all the jobs from there. Wait, this thing is jumping a little bit. Wait, Lynn is asking, how profitable is the Agritech business? Which type of veggies do you grow and which ones sell particularly well? Very hard question to answer, Lynn, because different businesses have different models. I do not know how profitable everyone is. Yeah, we are growing Asian leafy greens, and yeah, they all sell pretty well because, you know, thanks to our Singaporeans, they're all buying local. They really listen to SFA, you know, buy local first. Yeah, thank you to Singaporeans. KS Chia, is Agritech suitable for retirees? What do you mean by retirees? I mean, I can retire at 40, I can retire at 70, you know. So what do you mean by retirees and what do you mean suitable? So I don't really know how to answer this question. Jason is asking, are there investment opportunities? Yes, Jason, if you have lots of money, some firms would like to talk to you, you know, to invest in them. Fion Tam, I'm currently working part-time as an urban farming educator. may I know where can I get access to the related job listing? Go to the jobs portal. Yeah, the jobs portal. I think the Skills Future people can tell you which one is the jobs portal. Lydia, I have an engineering degree, but in a non-technical field. Can I apply to work? Lydia, may I know what engineering degree? How come it's non-technical? I thought engineering is technical. So yeah, of course you can apply to work in Agritech. Hua is asking, what are the long-term trends for Agritech jobs? Are there more jobs in Agritech for graduates compared to traditional farms? Hua, I think in the long term, Agritech is really picking up. It's not just Singapore, all right? It's all over. Because there's not enough food. By 2050, we have 9 billion people. We have not enough food. Why we have not enough food? Because many smallholder farmers are giving up, okay, because they find it's too tough. So the smallholder farmers are doing farming the traditional way. That's why Agritech is very important. That's why the technology that goes into farming to make the farming job easier, to grow more, to grow faster is very important, right? So Agritech jobs are there to stay. Are there more jobs in Agritech for graduates compared to traditional farms? Traditional farms, when you say traditional farms, you mean the farms that are still using hand watering and hand packing? I mean, they need a lot of people to do that kind of work, but do you want to do that kind of work? That is the question, right? Anthony is asking, is urban farming or vertical farming the way forward for Singapore given land scarcity? In Singapore, we are all talking about urban farming because we are urban, right? Wait, this thing is moving so fast, I can't see. Vertical farming is one of the ways, yeah. Indoor farming is also one of the ways. There are many ways, Anthony. The thing is we want to find a way that makes money, okay? So Agnes, you mentioned that Singapore will focus on innovations as we are land scarce. In which area of innovation can we do here? Where are the farms that will benefit from our innovation? Where are they located? Where are the farms that will benefit? Agnes, there are many farms in Singapore that work very, very closely with the SFA, and we have tapped on SFA's productivity grants and technology grants, and many of them are doing all kinds of innovation on their farms. Yeah, so they're mostly in the north of Singapore, okay, where all the farms are located. Yeah, there are many types of innovation that you can do, from growing, from seeding innovation, harvesting innovation, seed innovation. Yeah, there are many innovations. Happy is asking, how realistic is it to get a career in agriculture? Because the fact is this industry is very small and they're mostly looking for cheap labor. Happy, the cheap labor you're referring to, you're talking about the growers, right? That means the people who are actually doing the harvesting and all, which we have a lot of foreign workers doing that. And thanks to them, yeah, they are doing the hard work that many Singaporeans do not want to do. However, they're not really cheap also, yeah. Our foreign labor in Singapore is also very expensive because, we have to, our cost of living in Singapore is expensive. We have the levy to pay, we have to accommodate them and feed them as well. So, and yet, many Singaporeans are not doing this job because it's just very, very tedious, yeah. How realistic to get a career? It is very realistic, Happy. I mean, it depends on what career you're looking at. The industry is very small right now, but we should not just be looking at Singapore. Okay, remember I say that Singapore is going to be a hub, an innovation hub. We don't have enough land, but whatever we innovate, we can actually, work with our neighboring countries. And don't just look at Singapore. Singapore is very small for any kind of career, yeah, not just agriculture. Esther says, is there specific software engineering skills Agritech companies are looking for? And where can we find training in those areas? Software engineering, okay. I'm not a software expert, but we do have our guys doing programming. We are doing a lot of cloud-based programming so that we can connect the farms to our mobile phone, connect the farms to a computer so that I can see what's happening on the farms, so that I can monitor, the water, I can monitor the growth. I can see the color of my vegetables from my mobile phone. As to what kind of software, I don't know, but there are a lot of, I don't have the names now, but you can Google. I think there is a lot of software required over here. Programming skills, yeah, Esther. Lim Hui is asking, does Singapore allow Singapore farm to grow GMO? Local grown GMO needs to, there is no GMO over here. We have genetically edited. Yeah. Karen is asking, which is the best farm to visit? Kokfa has been around 30 years, supplying Singaporeans with daily leafy greens. There's even a tour, and which is the best farm? There are many farms, and whichever allows you to visit, they are the best farm to go to. David is asking, I have advanced degree in food science and technology. Is it relevant to Agritech roles? David, definitely. Yeah, I think your degree in science technology is relevant for Agritech because I'm sure you have all the basics about, the plants, right? Penfi is asking, which aspect of Agritech do you think can benefit the most from data analytics or IT? Which aspect of Agritech can benefit the most? What do you mean by which aspect of Agritech? The part that does the predictive modeling, the part that does the cloud-based engineering. Yeah. What is a typical starting pay for urban farmer? Urban farmer is very broad. So Yvette, you can look at the jobs portal and take a look there. Happy is asking, how realistic is it to get a career? Oh, I think I answered this before. Okay. Johan is asking, what qualities do you think someone working in Agritech farm should have? This question is very broad, Johan. Yeah, because I don't know which area you wanna work on. Next, Phoebe is asking, what's the capital of startup? This one I can't answer you, Phoebe. It's yeah, depends on how big your farm is. Too broad for me to answer. Cecilia is asking, aside from the present COVID situation, what was the biggest challenge? The biggest challenge in Singapore, Cecilia, is our climate. Yeah. Then our land and manpower. All right. Thomas, what are data analytic tools commonly used in Agritech? Thomas, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. Maybe somebody could help to answer this question. Sammy is asking, suggest a job portal for Agritech jobs. I suggest the Skills Future, folks, maybe you can show them the jobs portal, the Skills Future. I think it's the careers portal. Yeah. So I think I've answered all the questions. Are there any more questions? Some people have put questions in the chat instead of the Q&A. Let me see. Okay. Oh, I think some of the questions are repeated. Yeah. Aaron is asking that you have a career in healthcare, you're thinking of career change. Yeah, Aaron, if you have experience in healthcare, well, you can gather some ground-up experience, but I think you may want to look at the nutrition aspects of it, because I'm not sure which part of healthcare are you in, but you know, nutrition is pretty relevant for you. Okay. Cheryl is asking, if indoor farms are able to control growing conditions, does it not mean we can grow more varieties of crops? Yes, some of the indoor farms are already growing your lettuces and even tomatoes that's mainly grown in cooler climates. Yeah, so that, yeah, you're right, but it's yeah. Ling is asking, there are many jobs now because of this plan. Would the trend go down if there are too many farms in Singapore? Supply more than demand. Mean to say more people applying for this job? I think when we look at our career choices, we look at our skills, we do an assessment of ourselves. There are many skills or competencies that may be portable from place to place, from industry to industry, right? So don't think that, you know, when you just do one area and that's all that you have. It's important to keep learning, you know, open your horizon, right? Look at the future, right? So don't say that, okay, I'm only in this industry or this industry. Do a check on the skills that are portable, yeah? And if you're interested, you have to read up, right? You show your interest, isn't it? How you demonstrate to people you're interested, right? Read up, you know, find out what's required, you know, if you need to pick up a course, need to volunteer some hours, right? Okay, how are we doing for time? Oh, it's already 2:04. I think I've answered all the questions, yeah. Okay, right, I think I've answered all the questions. Right. So I'm going to pass this time back to Karen or Nick, right? I'm going to stop share. So Karen or Nick, over to you.
A very big thank you to our speaker and to each and every single one of you for being such a wonderful audience. So ladies and gentlemen, we're now at the end of the webinar and would love to receive your feedback. So once you exit this session, you will be shown a Zoom survey link on your browser. Simply complete this short survey and you may just be one of our 2 lucky participants to bring home $10 fair price online vouchers. Now, if you do wish to go for more in-depth training, then please visit NTUC LearningHub website to find out more about their courses. For busy professionals who prefer learning at your own pace, NTUC LearningHub has made learning accessible anytime, anywhere through an online learning platform, LHub Go. Also, remember to check out our other Skills Future Month 2021 webinars at www.skillsfuturemonth.sg and follow us on our social media channels to be notified of future events and promotions. Once again, thank you so much and have a fantastic day ahead.